Our furry friends are really a part of our family, and sometimes we can't be there with them as much as we would like to. But my friend here, Miss Ruby Red from Ruby Red's Pet Care, can help us out. And another furry friend is joining us today. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Munch says hi.
Hi, Munch. Oh my goodness, what a treat to have a furry friend in the studio. So you've been doing this for over 5 years professionally in the business, but you've been doing this for a really, really long time.
Yes.
Can you give me a little bit of your story and how this business started?
Sure. I have been a pet parent since my early 20s. I don't want to give away my age, but but I'm prior military, and after my military service, I was in corporate America for quite a few years. And there was a time in my life where I had to say goodbye to corporate. In the midst of trying to find employment, I had ran into this ad for dog walking. And so I did it, and I was like, surely, you know, I'm a pet parent. I can walk a dog, obviously. I walk my own dog. Fell in love with it. So I gave myself about 6 months to make sure that I still loved it. And I still did. And during that time, I've gotten scratched, bitten, growled, you know, furred, slobbered, pooed.
All the things.
All the things, and I still loved it. And that's when I decided to open up my own business and set a professional standard that pet parents should expect when it comes to someone caring for their fur kids.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Well, that's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you for your service, veteran-owned business here. That's great to know as well.
Proud to serve.
Absolutely. Okay, so what sets you guys apart? Because I know a lot of people with pets at home might just say, oh, there's a 13-year-old down the street that can let my dog out, I'm fine. What separates that sort of service versus the service that your business offers?
That is a great question. One, we're a small business.
Yes.
Two, we take the time to really learn what it means to perform pet care service. So a lot of us are certified. We take the time to take courses with animal behavior, learning the different breeds, the different species, because we don't just do cats and dogs, we do other, other types of pets.
I was going to ask you about that. Okay, sick.
CPR first aid certified. We learn all about medications, how to administer those medications. You're not going to trust a 13-year-old to administer an insulin shot to a cat with diabetes.
Wow, yeah.
So there's your difference right there.
Absolutely,
and you're
that's specialized care.
Right, and you're not going to trust them to identify any potential injuries or illnesses or things like that. If your kitty throws up on that special spot on the carpet, I seriously doubt that 13-year-old is going to clean it up.
Right. Well, that's something that I wanted to bring up as well. If an accident happens on you guys' care, you guys are going to clean that up.
Absolutely. That's pet care.
It's pet care, full service. We talked about it briefly, but I want to go back to it a little bit. It's not just puppies and cats. Yes. It's other animals as well. What other animals have you guys worked with?
We do a lot of exotics and small farm animals. So we've got chickens, ducks, rabbits, bearded dragons, snakes, parakeets, parrots. What am I missing here? Fish.
Oh my goodness. Bunnies? I saw bunnies on the website.
Yes,
no?
bunnies.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, we do buns.
So fun.
Yes.
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
Talk to me about what's in front of us here.
Okay.
Some of these things that are on the table.
Absolutely. So we've got some swag. We've got some little can lid covers. So some of my kiddos might have, are you thirsty, bud? Look in the ear. We have some kids that might do some wet food. And so, we can use those to kind of cover any leftovers.
Cover the cans, yep.
And this is a very important one here, is my safety vest. As you can see, it's ginormous, and it's very bright colored, and it's ginormous because it'll fit over my winter jacket during the winter.
Wow, okay.
So we've got lots of neighborhoods that do not have sidewalks, so when we are faced with those situations, I want to make sure that drivers can see us.
Yeah, absolutely. Safety's number one.
Absolutely, so always be mindful of your surroundings, and not just with, oncoming cars, but, come here, bud.
Hi, buddy.
Oh, I know, handsome. But, unfortunately, you get your loose dogs in the neighborhood just because, somebody forgot to lock the gate and, they make the great escape. So we, and sometimes other pups are not the most friendliest, so we got to keep, or this little guy here, he's little mighty.
Okay, small but mighty.
Small but mighty.
Yeah.
So we have to be mindful of what's out there, so it's not just, just walking a dog and sniffing the air. We got to be careful about what we do out there. Right, bud?
Yeah, absolutely. What a sweetheart. This is a great example of how you care for people's pets as if they're your own. I know people are very protective over their fur babies. How is the communication between caretaker and the client? Are they getting pictures, updates of the dogs? How does that go?
So we actually use a software that allows us to send doggy report cards. So, our clients know when we clock in, they get a notification when their appointment has started, and they know when their appointment has ended. So, and in those doggy report cards, we give a nice little summary of the visit, if there's anything that's abnormal, Munchie, was, twisted his little foot or something,
yeah.
or he had squirty poos, whatever.
Things that you're educated on, though, things you would notice.
Things that is very important for the pet parent to know in case there might have, a veterinarian needs to be involved. And of course, we always send pictures so the parents know what's going on. So, and they love it. They want to know, while they're on vacation, they want to know, what's Munch doing? Well, first of all, Munch is having too much fun.
Munch is happy. We look at him,
right.
big smile on his face,
yeah,
even
Munch
in the
is
TV
happy.
studio.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Something else we were talking about earlier before the cameras were rolling. Sometimes situations just come up. Maybe you haven't booked you guys to come out and check on the dog, but the boss has got you working late, or your plane gets delayed. You guys can help with situations like that.
Absolutely. It happens more often than especially in today's world with the airlines. I have a lot of traveling professionals in my pack, and we try to prepare for those worst case scenarios, and sometimes they're like, Ruby, my flight was delayed. Not a problem, we got you. So, it relieves the stress. They're already stressed enough trying to get back home and fighting the airlines and the crowd. Why put more stress on it about, oh my God, I gotta get home for my dog?
Right.
You don't need to worry about that.
And that's stressful, coming in with suitcases and running the dog outside, as opposed to you guys coming in, taking care of the pup, making everything comfortable so that when they come home, it's all taken care of.
Yep, and all we need to do is snuggle.
And all you gotta do is snuggle. And you guys have a wide range of services, everything from a quick potty break to multiple days. There's a range there. What areas do you service here in the Midlands?
We primarily service the Irmo, White Rock, Ballantyne, Chapin areas.
Okay.
Those are
Perfect.
Yeah.
Basically, that's
that
your
little
place.
small. We believe in quality care, not quantity of care.
Okay.
So the smaller the better. We want to make sure that we're not overly stretched out when it comes to pet care. That we give each of these kids the quality care that they deserve.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being here. Is there anything else you want to let everybody know about your business?
We strive to set the standard of professional pet care, and don't be afraid to ask those tough questions. You need to ask those tough questions because your babies deserve professional care.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Ruby, for being here.
Thank you.